I am grateful. I'm not even going to act like I'm not, because I have so much to be grateful for. So, and we all do, even if we don't realize it right now because of a million and one other things that are going on in our life right now. If we choose to focus on our blessings, our everyday blessings, even the simple fact that God chose to wake you up this morning, then that's enough alone to be glad for. Life is great. Life is good. And if it's not, make it good. We all want to live a good life. We all want to live happy and healthy and beautiful lives. And if you say you don't, you're lying. Even if that is not the case for you right now, you can mold it into what you want it to be. So we can work on that. And that's why I'm here, just to give some light at the end of the tunnel, the things that we have been suffering with and all of that kind of stuff, just to let you guys know that there is joy beyond our pain. And I can say that because I experience it every single day. You're looking at a person who went through a lot from childhood on up into adulthood. And finally, I'm trying to get some sense and act like somebody, like someone loved me, like I've been taught some things in my life, because I have. Sometimes we do things and that we shouldn't do, and we know better and we get caught up, but it comes a time in our life where we have to kind of snap out of it and throw some cold water in our faces, or slap yourself a couple times, or whatever you got to do, just do it. But by all means, do not continue to suffer through the same agony that you have been suffering with over the years. Like, that does not have to become your norm. It does not have to become your reality. No one should have to get used to suffering through heartache and pain and all of that kind of stuff. There is another side to it all. So I'm just here for those who don't know that there is light at the end of the tunnel, to kind of expose that light to you and let you know that it's there. You just have to reach for it. So it is your girl, Philly native, hometown legend, aka the professor, motivational speaker and author, Sakara Bay, and I am back with this week's life lesson. Of course, before we jump into this message, let's just take a couple moments to clear our minds and our thoughts and to center ourselves and to calm our thoughts and be present here in a moment. Take a couple deep breaths and count our blessings. That's what I really like to kind of focus on in this few moments of silence, is just think of something. I don't care if it's just one thing. Thank you for waking me up this morning. Thank God that I'm alive. Thank God that I'm alive. Thank God that I'm alive. Even if that it's that one thing. I want you to say that to yourself in this moment. If you're confused as to what to say, while we take these few moments just to center ourselves and be calm and present and here in this moment. And I want you to focus on this message so you can get as much out of it as possible. I can't opposed to when I go out and do in-person motivational speaking. I can kind of read my audience and I can kind of talk back and forth with them and all that kind of stuff, and I can't do that when I'm relaying messages virtually. I do appreciate when you guys throw me up hearts and whatever emojis or messages or comments or whatever, even though I try not to get too distracted while I am delivering messages. You guys kind of keep me going when I know that you are interested in the things that I am speaking about, and that's kind of the only reaction that I can get from you when I am doing messages virtually. So y'all work with me here. Let me know what you want me to do, because I am here for you. So let's just take a couple moments, close your eyes or not, take a couple deep breaths, calm your spirit, calm your thoughts, be present here in this moment, and just count your blessings. So here we go. Ooh. I love that. I mean, y'all might think I exaggerate when I say that. Every time, each and every time, I take a moment to stop and be grateful, whether it's here in this moment or when I just wake up in gratefulness mode and I just take a few moments to count my blessings and thank God for where I am and for waking me up in the morning. It always does something for me spiritually. It keeps me connected. It keeps me going. It lifts my vibration. It makes me happy. I am not the one that God has to choose to bless. I feel grateful to be blessed. He can skip past me and go ahead and bless somebody else. I don't take my blessings for granted. I don't think they are owed to me or anything. I am really, truly grateful for everything, every single thing, even things that were meant to teach me or my testimony. And sometimes we might think our situation is so bad, and it could be worse. And I know my situation could be worse. That's why I take time out to be grateful, and I encourage everyone to do that, not only today but every single day. You'll be doing yourself a major service by taking time out to be grateful. So we got that out the way. Y'all know how I am. So I know y'all not surprised by that little moment of gratefulness. I have to do that, just to let you guys know the importance of it. So y'all ready for this week's topic? Okay, today's topic is developing communication skills. We are going to talk about communication today. I think it is very important. It is important in professional settings and work life and relationships and, communicating with yourself. Communication is just important. And oh my gosh, I don't want to personalize everything every time I decide to relay a message. But I, even during this study, I realized how many mistakes that I have made or have been making as far as communication is concerned. I'm like, wow, like not only this message, but a lot of messages. I'm like, wow, I just been doing that all wrong. So I really needed this personally to do a study on communication, and I really believe in my heart that it was important for me to just relay a message of communication this week. This is what God told me to do. I mean, I pray on it all the time, and I'm like, God, if there is something else you want me to talk to your people about, do you feel like someone needs a word from you, or just let me know. And God just really confirmed in my spirit that we need to learn how to communicate better, well, with one another, families, couples, on the workplace, and all that kind of stuff. So communication is key. So I don't want to get too much further ahead of myself, so I'm going to go ahead and stick to my notes, and we are going to jump right on into some communication skills, and just communication, developing communication skills, however you want to call it. We are talking about communication today. So communication skills are the abilities to allow us to effectively share our thoughts and emotions and understand others. So that is so important. I cannot express this enough. We don't live on this planet alone. I have not checked how many people currently live on this planet. I think the last time I did check was maybe about just 8 months ago. And I think it was like 7.8 billion people on the planet or something like that. And people like to think that they don't have to communicate well with other people. I don't like people. I am introverted. I just want to stay in my home by myself and, just not communicate with humans as a human at all. Some people communicate better with their animals than they do with other humans. And, that ain't gonna work. Like, that ain't gonna work. It might give you personal gratification, but you're going to have to be able to communicate with people in the outside world. You're a person. Like, what's going to happen when you need to, I don't know, take care of business, or order take out Chinese, and you have to talk to the receptionist or whatever. Whatever it may be, if you are a human being that lives on the planet Earth, you are going to need to learn how to develop effective communication skills. So I thought this was very, very important. So communication is an important life skill because it helps us build relationships, teamwork, and trust. So all three of those things are important. We have to have relationships with one another. I mean, you choose who you want to and don't want to have a relationship with. Who you have a relationship with is up to you, but by all means, you're going to have some kind of relationship with somebody. Work. I mean, we all have to deal with people. I don't care if you're an entrepreneur or if you work for a corporation, a company, an office building. I don't care where you sit at. If you are a school teacher, you have to communicate with your students. Whatever that you do is going to take communication. So, and teamwork, we're going to have to learn how to work well amongst one another, because one person us not communicating well together, it might make one person's job harder than what it has to be, because we are all not on the same page. And you don't want that, especially if we are all on the same team. We want to be able to work well together, be on the same page, and communication is going to be vital for us to be able to work effectively and even a workplace or just teamwork, period. And I did see the word trust. We have to be able to trust one another. One thing that I realized with me doing in-person motivational speaking and probably virtual relaying messages and motivational speaking online, the longer I've done it, the more I earned the trust of individuals. It wasn't easy at first because people are looking at me like, well, who is this girl? What is your motive? And all of this kind of stuff. I was really loud and kind of changed my technique up and my delivery method a little bit. And it's my personality and it's just how I am. And I do accept that about myself, but I can't be that way with everybody. And I know that, but I do understand that I have built a relationship with people over this past year. Believe it or not, I have only been doing this, I believe it's coming up on a year. If not, because I had my YouTube channel. I think June 3rd makes a year that I have been delivering messages on YouTube. And following that, I started my in-person motivational speaking on June 3rd of 2022. So I am just a few months, over a year that I have been doing this, and I learned a lot along the way. And I learned that consistency and, just me continuing to show up and sincerity, it allowed me to gain the trust of a lot of people. And that's probably really all around the board. So you want to be able to earn the trust of one another. It's important to earn trust. That is very important. It also helps us to make better life choices. So we're talking about communication here. Communication helps allow us to make better life choices. And who does not want to make better life choices? Because the choices that we make in life is a reflection of ultimately how our life ends up. The things that happen to us in our life is a direct reflection of our choices. I did a complete study on choices. It was either a message or a study. If I didn't do a study on choices, I'm going to do a study on choices, but I do believe that I did a study on choices already, or I just did like an extended 30-minute video on my YouTube channel. But I know I talked about choices before, and choices are important because our choices mold our life. Like, we ultimately have the choice to believe or not to believe, to do things, make healthy choices for our body, the things that we put into our body, how active we are, to go for the walk or to not go for the walk, to drink water or not to drink water, to read or not to read, to further ourselves in any kind of way, or to drink or use drugs or become promiscuous or not, whatever we choose to do, that's going to be the path that we take. And I know you guys probably heard this phrase before, you made the bed, so you lay in it, or something like that. I know I didn't say it word for word how we are used to saying it, but if you made your bed, then you have to lay in it. A lot of people like to complain about where they are in life, and they give very little accountability for where they are, because ultimately you are where you are because of the choices that you made in life. And it's so much easier for us to point the finger at other people and not take accountability, opposed to us just fessing up to it and leaving room for growth and elevation, so we won't continue to make the same decisions or in mistakes over and over and over again. So having good communication skills will allow us to make better life choices. So we all need to learn how to do that. So just about everything that we do communicate something, even silence. So all right, so that just gave me like married couples, let's just say. I am divorced. I was going to say recently, so I may be coming up on like 3 years divorced or something like that. And I remember when I used to go through arguments or whatever with my ex-husband, I would give him the silent treatment, or sometimes he would give me the silent treatment. And even though we weren't communicating anything verbally, you could cut the tension with a knife. So, I know some of you might be able to relate as far as that is concerned, but being silent is a form of communication as well. So, just not saying anything at all, that is a form of communication. I'm going to stay on track. So, people with excellent communication skills express themselves clearly and effectively. So that is important. Those two words that I just said. People with good communication skills know how to express themselves clearly and effectively, and that is so important. Like, say what you need to say, so we can better our communication skills. It says with excellent communication skills, and we can take our communication skills from being poor to excellent. Speaking of marital spats and, and giving each other the silent treatment, there was a point in my marriage where I remember our communication was like very poor, And I just did not feel like communicating on any level at all. I was just like done with communication. And me talking to him was like mumbling. I was just like, just mumbling words out of my mouth. I don't care if you heard or understood what I said or didn't hear or understand what I said. I don't really want to be talking to you right now anyway. And me communicating with him like that in turn made him communicate back to me in that same grumbling, verbal, not speaking words, kind of blah, blah, blah. I'm only talking to you because I have to, and whatever, and just not even understanding what we were saying to each other. And I was like, okay, so this is not going to work. Like, even though I don't feel like communicating anymore, I am still in this marriage and we still have to communicate on some level. So I'm going to have to be verbal until I get myself out of this mess. And that's what I did. So, I mean, if you have to communicate, you just have to communicate. There's really no way of getting around it, I guess. That was the point of me saying that. Like I say, you choose who you do not want to communicate with now. The time that I spent communicating with my ex-husband is very limited because now I have a choice whether I want to communicate with him or not because we are not married anymore. So, but as long as we were in the same household together, it did require a certain amount of communication. And if that communication wasn't there, it made it that much harder to even be under the same roof with him. So I had to communicate with him. So, we do want to develop excellent communication skills. So you have something to say it clearly and effectively. So come on, I'm trying to help somebody today. We are talking about developing better communication skills and more effective communication skills. And this message is for everybody. I don't care where you are in life right now. You can always make room for improvement and being able to communicate at a better level, not only for the sake of someone else, but for the sake of yourself as well. So the purpose of communication is to inform, influence, and express our feelings to one another. So that is just the purpose of communication. If I want you to know something, I am informing you through communication. That goes without saying. Influence, I would love to think of myself as a positive influencer, and I cannot be a good influence on my children by the way by my actions, the things that I do to show them, to be a good example for them, not just tell them what to do. But I like to verbally express to them right and wrong at times. I know they have to get out here and learn on their own. And I would love to think of myself as being a good influence, a worldwide influencer. I influence people all over the world, and I want to do that in a good way, in a great way, in a major way. So, and I would not be able to influence you or anyone else if I didn't have a good level of communication skills. So I'm working on my communication skills too, for myself and for others as well. So, and we can tell each other how we feel. And I believe that is important too. Just sticking on the topic of motherhood. I am a single mother. I love my children with everything inside of me. They make me very, very proud. And my 22-year-old, well, he'll be 22 in October. And he has his head on his shoulders. And I am very, very proud of him. And he came into a crossroad where he's just moving from one point of his life to another point, going in a very good direction. He cares about his future, a very intelligent young man. I could not be more proud of my 22-year-old son. And I had to express that to him because he was feeling a little down about where he was. And I had to express to him what I want for him. Like, instead of leaving him guessing about how I feel about where he is and what I want for his future, it is so much better. It makes me feel better. And I am glad that I am able to express to my children how much I want a great future for you. Like, when was the last time you communicated that with someone? And I'm just using him for example. It can be anyone, your spouse, your coworker. I know, this is what it is right now, but I would love to see you prospering or in a great position. And this is how I feel about where I see you right now. Instead of leaving people in limbo or thinking that you don't care about, it's not my life. I don't care where you might end up in the future or whatever. I'm glad that I am able to express to other people that I would love to see them prospering in life. And I say that to my children quite often, all of them. And I say it to other people as well. I want good for other people so we can express our feelings to one another about how we feel about them. I love you and I care about you and I want to see you doing good. That's important. That's an important form of communication. Just telling someone that you are happy or excited for them and you care about where they may end up in the future. It might give them more incentive to move forward and do better with themselves. So we can communicate in that way, express our feelings towards one another. And that was just one example of expressing our feelings to one another. So I wrote down some tips. On how to improve our communication skills. So number one, you have to know what to say before you start talking. So don't just have diarrhea of the mouth and just come out your mouth and be just start talking just to hear yourself talking, or I just want to be talking right now, or I see somebody that I can talk to, so I'm just going to talk. Have something valid to say before you walk up to somebody, and be mindful what you are going to say. Think about how what you are getting ready to say, how it may affect the person that you are going to say it to. Like, am I going to say something good, or am I going to say something bad? Am I going to say something on a need to know basis? Am I going to say something informative? How important is what I am going to say to this person? So we have to be choosy with our words. In other words, choose your words wisely. So that is one tip. So know what you're going to say before you start talking. Be mindful of the words that you are preparing to speak out of your mouth. And a lot of people don't do that. So don't be a double talker. No one likes a double talker. Guilty 100%. Sometimes I am terrible with being a double talker, and I try to work on that so much. I am getting better at it, but I absolutely just kick myself so hard for double talking sometimes, and that is something that I do not like about myself. I don't know, maybe because I run my mouth too much or whatever. Sometimes I am better at not doing it than other times because I know that I am working on it. But if I can just do away with the double talking part of me completely, then I would just like flip the switch and be done with it. I don't know what causes me to do it. I think it's like personal issues with my past, with me feeling so unimportant for so long, and I get excited when I'm talking to people, and sometimes I just double talk, but I don't want people to think that what I have to say is more important than what they have to say. So that's why I said, I am really working on not being a double talker. No one likes a double talker. It will take nothing for you to wait to start talking after the person that you are talking to finish talking before you just start talking over them. And then you don't want that to spill out onto your personal relationships, because if, say, you are talking to your boo or whatever, and he or she is talking about something, and then you feel like what you have to say is more important, so instead of excusing yourself or whatever, you just start double talking while they are talking, so now y'all just arguing, and you don't want to be in an argument. That's stressful. Who wants to argue with anybody? So you can save yourself a whole lot of aggravation and frustration, and just being totally irritated with the conversation that you just had with somebody that you love. It may not end on a good note. You know, you may be thinking about this argument for the rest of the day and all of that. Or you can choose to be a good communicator and work on your communication skills and just wait for your boo to say whatever it is on his or her heart, and listen, hear them out, and then you say excuse me, what you have to say after they finish saying what they have to say. So don't be a double talker, y'all. Just don't. You don't want that to spill onto your professional career. You can't be in a high setting in a office room full of COOs or I'm currently reading a book. I just started reading a book. 50 Cent. I forgot Curtis. Something is 50 Cent rapper. I know some of you probably heard of 50 Cent. He's a rap legend, and he wrote a book called Hustle Hard, Work Hard. So I'm reading Hustle Hard, Work Hard now, and he was talking about this young man that was full of potential, smart, and all of that, but he was saying how he had to cut him loose because he didn't know how to shut up. And he said he hated to do it, but when he communicated that to the rest of his team, they like, this guy just talks just to hear himself talking. And it's sad to, take this opportunity away from him, because he would, be a great asset to us, and this might mean a lot for his career to be working with us as well. But he said that the talking too much, or just talking to hear yourself being heard or talking, he said it just irritated him. He just had to cut him loose. I mean, I don't know. I read that in his book. I just started reading the book. It is really, really good. I recommend that book by 50 Cent to any and everyone who is inspiring to go further in their future, or just need some kind of encouragement. Is great already, and I'm not even halfway through, but I'm like, maybe they should have talked to him about him talking so much or whatever. He like, we just straight had to cut bro loose. I was like, hey, just reading it in his book. But we don't want to deny ourselves a great opportunity like that because we don't know how to shut up. Like, I would hate for that to be me. That's why I am like trying to work on my communication skills now. Even before I decided to do this study on communication, I am still like so hard, like moving forward with trying to work on my communication skills, just because I want to communicate better. That's all around the board. If or when I do decide to get in another relationship, I want to be able to have good communication with the person that I choose to get in a relationship with. I like to communicate effectively on the workplace, when I'm talking to people, when I'm doing things like this, delivering motivational messages, whether it be in person or virtually. I want to be a good communicator, and I don't want me not being a good communicator to interfere with me having a better future. So I mean, I know that this might not be for everybody, and then that it just made me think about that. It may not be. It probably should be, but some people just may not think it's that important for us to to have good communication skills. So I'm laughing because of my next point. It says remove non-words like or and I just said I'm like and I remember coming across this when I was doing this study is they call them non-words or filler words. So we would be able to get our point across way more effectively and efficiently, clear and quicker if we learn how to get our point across without saying or and or just something just to kind of fill it in while we gather our thoughts or whatever. So during this part of the study, I didn't write this down, but it said silence can be very effective, like just a few moments of silence, not like a long, drawn out, awkward silence, but just a few moments of silence to help you gather your thoughts and figure out. Let's see, I just said it's a habit, and I know it's a bad habit because I've been doing it for so long, and a lot of people probably been saying and for so long as well. But and is poor communication. It just is. So we have to learn how to do away with those words if we want to learn how to communicate better. No no or and or whatever we say to fill in words, or just try to have something to say while we gather our thoughts or think about the next thing that we want to say. So vocabulary, this is so important. Vocabulary, a survey amongst prisoners many years ago showed that there is a relationship between vocabulary and behavior. The more limited the vocabulary, the more tendency to bad behavior. Vocabulary gives us insight, understanding, awareness, and vision. We can broaden our vocabulary by learning and reading more to open ourselves up to a world of opportunity and possibilities. So I found that to be very interesting. So people with short vocabulary, I don't know, maybe they get frustrated because they don't know a lot of words and they just choose to commit crimes. I don't know. But during this survey, that's what they came across during this survey, that people with short vocabularies are prone to bad behavior. And you don't want to be prone to bad behavior because it might lead you somewhere where you don't want to be, like behind bars. So one way we can broaden our vocabulary, Jim Rohn, one of my favorite motivational speakers, said we can just pick up a dictionary and start looking up words that we don't know the meaning of. So when we don't have a big vocabulary, we limit our vision and we can't comprehend on what somebody else is saying to us on their level, and we get frustrated and we turn away and we choose to do something else because we can't open our minds up wide enough to see a broad vision in our minds for ourselves. Like people with broad vocabularies, they want to see the world. They want to open up opportunities and take the cap off of the possibilities for their future in their lives and for themselves, because they see these things in books and in learning words and knowing the meaning of words and all of this kind of stuff, and learning new languages and all of that kind of stuff. So I know vocabulary is a subject that we all started off with in elementary school. We all need to learn vocabulary, but some of us have shorter vocabularies than others, and it literally stunts the growth on our life when we don't have a very large vocabulary. So I found that to be very interesting. Like we just, I don't know. I don't know exactly how it correlates, but it says a study amongst prisoners showed that incarcerated people don't know a lot. I mean, I guess maybe some of them do, and some of them might even choose to broaden their knowledge and their vocabulary after they have already been incarcerated. which can probably help them, maybe even get them out of prison quicker, because they chose to learn more. But if you want to not even have that possibility of ending up in jail, an incarcerated person, and this is for men and women, you may want to consider broadening your vocabulary, just the words that you know. I am so grateful that I am reading a whole lot more than what I have been reading, even within the past few years. I always knew that that was something a very important habit for me to pick up, was to read more, and I always would talk about it a lot, but I never actually did it as much as I am doing it now. I'm also reading a novel. I need to chill a little bit. I just got finished one book. I said I'm not going to be reading 3 books at one time. So now I'm reading 2 books at a time. I was reading 2 books at a time for a while. So I'm reading a novel. It's called The Giver of Stars. And it's very, very good. I cannot think of the author's name of this novel, but just by me reading this novel, it allows me to see parts of the world. And Jojo Moyes is the name of the author of The Giver of Stars. She's excellent. This is the first book that I am reading from Jojo Moyes. Please excuse the noise. They cutting the grass outside. But this is the first book that I am reading from Jojo Moyes, and it is just so visionary. Like, you can see the words, the way that she writes these novels, and I love it. Like, I never been to the part of the world that she explains in this novel, and I can see it. I can see the mountains. I can see myself riding horses up the mountains, and then the way that I guess it's kind of like a country slang, and I can hear myself as I read, like I'm reading it in this country slang. That's a great author. That is just a excellent author, to be able to create a novel that you can actually pick yourself up out of your seat and put yourself in that book. So and it's allowed me to expand myself, and I'm like, wow, even if I never literally go to this part of the world ever in my life, I feel like I've been there, because I have read a novel from Jojo Moyes. So yeah, that's a great recommendation. She does read novels. I don't spend too much time on a lot of novels, because I like reading educational books, motivational books, things that are going to teach me more and take me to a higher level. And reading novels is just for pure enjoyment and relaxation. So I do, I enjoy reading. Especially the one that I am reading right now. So, body language. Let's talk about body language. 93% of effective communication is nonverbal, while spoken words account for 7%. I was like, really? Wow. So 93% of effective communication is nonverbal. So whether we are aware of it or not, we interact with others. We interact with others. We're continuously giving and receiving wordless signals. This includes posture, eye movement, and facial expressions. So you're saying more than you even realize that you're saying, even without speaking words. And I don't think that we realize that so much. I thought that was very interesting to me. It just makes me think about the body language that I have been communicating to others. I don't know. I don't know the body language that I'm communicating. Sometimes I feel kind of bodybuilderish, because I feel my muscles toning up so much. So like I find myself like stomping through the market sometimes, and I'm like, wow, my legs feel so strong. And then I look down and I might see some like bulging muscles in my legs, and then I might see somebody looking at me, and I'm like, wow, am I giving off like bodybuilder vibes? I don't know. So I don't want to give off those kind of vibes, but you do notice like when you're working on your body as much as I do, you do notice like the changes in your body at weird times. Like you might be like grocery shopping and be like, wow. I don't know. So I think about the communication that I have been given through my body. And I just hope that I have not been given all bad communication vibes. Sometimes some people say I'm not responsible for my facial expressions or whatever. We have to be mindful of our facial expressions. Like you don't want your face to be all like balled up and twisted to the side, and somebody is saying something to you and they like, wow, that's how you feel, and you like, what? I ain't even say nothing. You ain't have to. Like it's literally all over your face. Eye contact. Eye contact. What you doing with your eyes while you talking to somebody? I don't know. The worst thing I hate about when I'm communicating with somebody is because I try to be present when when someone is communicating something to me, and the last thing that I want to do is give off the vibes like I'm not interested in what you are saying to me. And it doesn't matter who it is or what they are saying to me. If it's a conversation that I would rather not be engaging myself in, if it's something like negative or low vibrational conversations or gossip or whatever, I try to remove myself from those type of conversations. But I don't like when I'm communicating with someone and they are in their phone, or they are just like, you talking to me, but I have to wait for you to finish scrolling or texting or whatever. Like I do away completely with those things when I am communicating with someone, because number one, I never know how much that might mean to someone that I am there, present, not just physically body like standing there, but I want to be there mentally, and I want to focus on what you are saying to me. And no matter what it is, I want you to know that I care about what you are saying to me. The last frustrating conversation you might have had with your mate, or you don't know what type of sauce to use for your spaghetti, or how long to keep the chicken in the oven. I don't know, but if it concerns you, if it's important to you, okay, let's go ahead and focus on your concern momentarily, because I'm not going to talk about the sauce and the spaghetti for no hour, but I can try to help you through, what recommended sauce I like using for my spaghetti, and then we can resolve that, and then we can start talking about something else. But I do want you to know that I care about what you are saying to me. And the last thing that I am going to do is look at my phone while you talking to me. If I do have to look at my phone while you talking to me, I'm going to excuse myself. If number one, I don't answer notifications if I'm talking, if I'm having a conversation with somebody. You can text me. If you call me, if it's not one of my children, I'm not going to answer the phone. If it's one of my kids, I'll excuse myself and answer my phone, because they're my number one priority. But I'm not scrolling through social media. I listen to a lot of motivational videos and audiobooks and all that stuff at work. But if one of my coworkers walk up to me and start talking to me, and I am in the middle of a audiobook or a motivational video or whatever, I turn it off and I focus on what the person is saying to me, because it might be something helpful that they are saying to me. It might benefit me. I never know what I might get out of a simple conversation with someone. Life is an open book for me. So I stop, because even if I'm very caught up in what I'm doing at the moment, it might be something in what they have to say. It might be something in it for me, and not even thinking about it for my own personal benefit. they may want to talk about their sick dog, or I might stop them and ask them how their dog is doing because I know how much they love their dog, or whatever, so we have to learn how to be present and what we do while we are communicating with each other. I mean, a lot of us might make these mistakes regularly and might not think much of it, but what's going to happen when you need someone to be that ear for you, and if you don't know how to be an ear, how is someone going to be comfortable with lending you one? So, your body language can make others feel at ease, or it can create tension. So you never want to create tension with communication. That's just something that you don't want to do. Smiling and nodding can convey friendliness and understanding. So you might want to, consider doing that quite often when you are learning how to communicate better. And listening is the most important skill in communicating. I know that might seem far-fetched, but it is true. Be a good listener. Be a better listener than you are a speaker. So, like I said, it might be something in it for you. I catch so many golden nuggets. Like, people be throwing golden nuggets at me during times of communication, and they don't even realize how much they are giving me tools for life and for motivation. And I'd be like, wow, that's a good message, or whatever. That was sent straight from heaven, or I really needed to hear that from someone today. Like, sometimes people say things to me and they don't even realize how much it means. How much it meant. I might not express to them, like, wow, I'm so glad that they said what they just said to me. Like, it really meant so much. So we have to learn how to be great listeners. Poor communication might leave a person guessing as to how they think or feel about you, a certain situation. So you don't want to leave a conversation undone. Poor communication, just walk away from, a conflict or whatever you want to resolve, whatever you had to resolve while communicating with whoever you may want to communicate with. None of us are perfect at communicating, and these are skills that we need to learn. And I don't care how old you are or how young you are, you got some people out here who don't focus on the importance of learning how to be a great communicator, and it had a devastating effect on the relationships that they have in their everyday life, the relationships they have with their children, or you sleep in the bed with the same person every night, and you have y'all the communication is just not there. Not saying that you can't get that communication back where it will be beneficial for both of you, but you have to work on having great communication skills, not only for yourself but for the other person as well, and for the relationship itself. So the golden rule of communication is to communicate with others as you would have them communicate with you. So when I came across this, it gave me getting smart with people. And I don't want to give a certain situation in particular, but just talking bad to someone, and then you have developed a relationship where you and that person just don't have any respect for one another when you talk to each other at all. Like, so now you getting smart with them and they getting smart with you, and already when you go to just have a simple conversation with this person, you can already expect it to be tension or cursing or arguing, or y'all just getting smart back and forth with each other. Opposed to when you go to have a conversation with this person and you talk to that person with kindness and respect, And that's the same thing that you would expect to get back from them, because that is what you are giving them. In a perfect world, that will always be the case. I'm not stupid. I know that you can communicate as best as possible, and you still have some people that's ignorant out here who just choose to want to get smart and jump off the hedge and talk to you any old kind of way and all that kind of stuff. You choose who you want to communicate with and not communicate with. But by all means, if it's that ignorant person or that or not, there's some people out here that is completely ignorant to everyone that they talk to, but when they talk to me in a way that I talk to them, and they don't talk to me with complete ignorance, because they know that I'm not talking to them and am not going to talk to them in complete ignorance. So that's the golden rule of communication. And it just brings me back to biblical principles. Treat others how you want them to treat you. The way that you talk to somebody, you can expect that same energy back that you are giving. So be mindful of how and what you say to everyone, not just some people. Don't just have a certain level of respect for certain individuals and not for others. We should work on being kind to everyone always. We should just develop that. That is important in communication as well. Learn how to be kind, because we want kindness. We don't want anyone to not be kind to us. So why should we be comfortable with not being kind to others? And I know we just have some people out here in this world that are just not kind at all. But even with that being said, we should learn how to have excellent communication skills by working on how kind we are to one another. We should always choose to be kind in every situation. And if choosing to be kind is not being effective with whomever you might be communicating with at the time, I will always say that it is best to just turn around and walk away, because you don't want to make that type of person out of yourself. That's the old me, because you looking at the pop off queen right now. I used to curse everybody out. Everybody. I don't even curse no more. Like, if I do curse, I repent and I pray. But I realize how disgusting curse words sounded coming out of my mouth. And today I've been practicing not using curse words for many years now, and I like me better not cursing. It makes me feel better about myself knowing that I don't use the type of language that I used to use. That didn't make me feel good about myself, even with me cursing people out. My twin, I love her so much, but she is just such a softie, and she could let people get away with things that she should never, let them get away with. And that would just always piss me off so much. So in the midst of her doing that, I always found it my responsibility to intercede for her and just like curse somebody out. It didn't matter who it was. If you were violating or disrespecting my twin in any kind of way, me knowing that she wasn't going to stand up for herself in the way that I would, I always took the liberty of doing it myself. I can't count on my 10 fingers and 10 toes how many times I done jumped up and cursed somebody out over my twin. I won't do it now, because we're adults now, and she has gotten better over the years, just by making wiser decisions and, just working on herself a lot. I am so very proud of her, of how far she has come concerning that. But even, she does like slip up from time to time. I might express to her personally how I feel about her letting people get over on her. But as far as me cursing somebody out for her the way that I used to, I'm not doing it anymore. I don't even speak up for her anymore at all. I just don't. Like, if you're not going to speak up for yourself, then you ain't going to be spoken up for, because I'm not going to be the one to do it. And I didn't feel good about myself when I used to curse people out. Like, it might have felt gratifying at the time. But later on, I'd be like, wow, I really gave it to him. I mean, it has been times where I have made grown men shed tears, like just not even care about what I said out my mouth. And I'm glad that that's the old me. I don't want to be that person. I don't want to hurt people with my words. So I choose to help people with my words nowadays, opposed to the way that I used to communicate in a unhealthy way. So communication skills. We are talking about how to learn how to be better communicators. We have to live in this world with one another, so we have to learn how to be able to communicate with each other well. So when we communicate effectively, everyone leaves feeling satisfied. The giver and the receiver, we are all on the same page. We understand. I understand you and what you were saying. You understand me and what I have to say. And we have left this conversation on good terms. So learn how to identify with sincerity and understanding, and that is a good quality of being a good communicator. So like I said, I always like to be present when someone is talking to me, explaining their situation. I talk to people a lot. You know, I go out into my community. I talk to people who have fell under bad circumstances for whatever reason, people who still suffer with drug and alcohol addiction, and I hear them out. And I don't do it because I feel like I'm obligated to do it. I do it because I want to do it. I do it because I was there at a point in time. And I remember being at rock bottom and nobody wanted to listen to me. Nobody wanted to hear me out. I had no shoulder to cry on. Nobody to explain to them why I felt the way I felt, or why I was doing what I was doing, or the decisions that I was making, or what have you. And I know how much it would have meant to me for someone to just hear me out. So today I choose to be a listening ear. I listen to people a lot, and I do it with sincerity. I do it from the kindness of my heart, and I do it because I care. So that is a good quality in learning how to improve your communication skills. I already said that listening is one of the most important skills in learning how to communicate well. We think that talking is more important than listening, when in all reality it's the other way around. So I wrote down a quote and an affirmation on communication, and I'm going to leave you guys with that. But before I jump into my quote, my affirmation, and wrap this message up, I just want to thank you all so much for joining in with me on this message of communication. I believe that if we learn how to be more effective communicators, our lives will be better for us. We can create the world around us that it would be more pleasant for us. And this is a life skill that will allow our world around us to be a better experience, to elevate the quality of our life if we learn how to communicate on a more effective level that will be beneficial not only for us but for people around us. And I'm talking about anyone and everyone that we have to communicate with on the regular basis. This is why I felt like this message on communication was so important. So listen, I'm right here with y'all. It ain't like I'm like this perfect communicator. Like I said, for me doing this study on communication, it really opened my eyes up to so many things that I was like and am doing like so wrong as far as communication is involved. So I want to be an excellent communicator, and I want to see the benefits and the reflection that it is going to have on my life moving forward, because I have taken the time out to learn how to communicate on a more effective level. So my quote on communication was from a man named Tony Robbins. He is one of the most recognized and influential motivational speakers and life coaches. I come across Tony Robbins a lot because that is like right up my alley. I don't listen to a lot of Tony Robbins motivational videos. Not that is personal, but I'm kind of like stuck on my favorites. Maybe eventually I'll work my way down to expanding myself to listening to a few of Mr. Tony Robbins motivational videos, but he is huge. So Mr. Tony Robbins, big shout out to you. He is huge in the motivational world. So this is what Tony Robbins said: the way we communicate with others and ourselves ultimately determines our quality of life. And what I love about this quote is he said the way that we communicate with others and ourselves. So I didn't really get too much into communicating with ourselves, but we talk to ourselves. We communicate with ourselves in many different ways. The way we treat ourselves, the things that we do for ourselves, self-talk, the way that we talk to ourselves on the regular basis, that goes back to that mental piece. Like, where are you mentally? You know, are you down talking yourself mentally, calling yourself stupid, telling yourself what you don't have the capabilities of doing, or telling yourself you can't do something before you even attempt to do it, or anything like that? So the way that we communicate with ourselves and with others determines our quality of life. So what type of quality of life do you want to have? That's personal. That is so personal. I want a fabulous quality of life. I want to have such an amazing quality of life on so many levels. I want to feel healthy in my body. I want to feel strong in my mind. I want my circle, the people around me. I want to deal with good quality people. I want to do things on high levels. I want to execute on high levels. I want to make a great impact on this world. I don't want to do it not feeling well about myself, not feeling in good physical health. This is why I take time out to work on myself in so many different ways every single day, because it is important to the quality of life that I want to live for myself and in my future. So you have to personalize that. Think about the quality of life that you want to establish for yourself. So communication is going to be one of the starting points in the quality of life that you create for yourself. You know, it all starts within. Everything starts within. It starts with you, how you feel about yourself, how you talk to yourself, the people that you associate yourself with, and your level of communication. So it's time for us to start doing some self-development. That is what it's really giving me right now. A lot of people don't take time out to work on themselves enough. We work harder for other people. We work harder on our 9 to 5. We work harder on being great parents. We work harder on trying to figure out our spouse, and having we do want to have a healthy relationship and be a power couple or whatever. But how you gonna be a power couple if you hold no power? You have to learn how to work on yourself before you can bring anything to the table. How you going to be in a healthy relationship if you're not healthy within yourself? So it all starts with self-development, with picking up certain life skills, with developing yourself personally. I cannot say that enough. Do it mentally, do it physically, do it spiritually, do it emotionally, do it financially. Listen, these are all things that you are used to me saying, and I will say them over and over and over again. Physically, we have to learn how to work on ourselves before we can be effective to the world in any kind of way. Like, we want to do things in an effective way. We don't want to waste our time on people or things or relationships or dead-end jobs or anything, or just not being happy, period. because we are not taking enough time out to develop ourselves and develop personal life skills that will give us a better quality of life. So shout out to you, Mr. Tony Robbins. I absolutely love that quote. And I wrote down one affirmation. You guys know how I feel about these affirmations. We speak greatness over ourselves. I can pour greatness into you constantly, or every time you pop in and watch one of my videos. I am always going to speak positive, power, uplifting vibes over, your life. The same thing that I want for my life. I can't say the exact same thing because our lives are different, but I want good positive outcomes for your life just as well as I want good positive outcomes for my life. But I cannot speak those things over you and it be as effective as it would be if you learn how to speak these things over yourself with sincerity. I really want this for myself with conviction. I want you to convince yourself of your own greatness. So my communication affirmation is, and you can say this, you can put it in your pocket, write it down, write it on the back of your hand, look yourself in the mirror and repeat these things to yourself. Say, I am worthy, and who I am right now is worth expressing. What you have to say is important. How you feel is important. What you need is important. What you want is important. Stop keeping these things all bottled up in yourself because the people that you are communicating these things to seem like they don't care. Because if it ain't about them, then they don't care about your wants and your needs. If no one else prioritizes how you feel and what you are going through and what you want and what you are thinking and your position in life right now, if no one else in this world prioritize you prioritize yourself. So say that to yourself right now. Who I am, I'm gonna read the whole affirmation again. I am worthy, because you are. You are worth caring for. I am worthy, and who I am right now is worth expressing. So express yourself like full blown. I ain't saying go out here and get on nobody's nerves and beat their head up with what you want and all this kind of stuff, but express yourself with your wants and your needs and what is important to you, and surround yourself around what's important to you, what makes you feel good. Indulge yourself in the labor of love. Do the things that makes you happy. Make your life everything that you absolutely want it to be. So that is it, you guys. That is my message on communication. I hope I was able to communicate that message on communication well and effectively. I have taken up enough of you guys' time. I think it's been a little over an hour. I'm glad I did not rush myself through this message. I feel like it is a very important message on communication. If we learn how to work on these things, we can make our lives better for ourselves. Be a great listener, be a great speaker, be a great communicator, and see how far it will take you in life. So God bless you and good morning. Happy hump day. And thank you all for jumping in on here and tuning into this message on communication. I am grateful beyond words for your presence here, even right here now in this moment, and for those of you who will choose to view the message maybe later on today. So before I go, I'm going to go ahead and shout out my books and my YouTube channel. That is True Value Knowing Your Worth. You can go right to your Google and pull up True Value Knowing Your Worth. Shout out to everyone who is purchasing the books, who is going on my YouTube channel and subscribing. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And that's True Value Knowing Your Worth on YouTube, and that is also the name of my first book. So my second book is Walking Treasure, Discover Your Hidden Treasures. My third book is Feed Your Soul, and that is your personal guide to health and wellness. And my fourth book is called Religiously, and that is taking a closer look at spirituality and religion. I am in the midst of working on my fifth book, and that is called Misunderstood, and that is the spoken truth of the unspoken. I am having such an amazing time just wrapping myself up in Misunderstood. Prayerfully, I will have that book published and released by the new year. So I don't want to take for granted that I have until New Year's to publish that book, but I just want to take my time and work on it and put my all into it, just as I did my prior 4 releases. So thank you all so much for your love and support. Y'all go out here and get over this hump now. Y'all kick some hump day, but hump it out. Do whatever that you want to do that is going to please you. Buy something nice for yourself. Go treat yourself to some gelati or ice cream or something. It is hot. Summer has made a comeback, but I want you to enjoy yourself today. I want you to take some time out and focus on yourself. Think about yourself. We spend a whole lot of time focusing on other people and thinking about other people. And if we just take more time out to focus and think about ourselves and what we really need to move ourselves further on in our lives, it will make our lives so much better for ourselves. It is not selfish to focus on you. So that's your assignment for today. Focus on yourself. I want you to do that, even if it's only for a little while. Grab yourself a journal, write down some things that is in your heart, maybe some things that you need to let go of, to release, some people that you may need to forgive, things that you need to forgive yourself for. We are talking about doing things that is going to help us in a healthy way. We may have been lashing out or communicating in an unhealthy way that is not doing anything but causing friction between us and other individuals, people in our families or in our relationship, or arguing back and forth with your kids or whatever. Let's just do away with all of that. And if we can't find a healthy way to effectively communicate with one another right now, just take some time out and figure out what's going on with you that you need to address and get rid of some junk. Like, you might have some junk that's packed down inside of you that you just need to take the garbage out. Get it out. Get it out. Release some things off of your life that is not serving you, so you can live a better quality of life. And then we can work on doing things that is going to develop us and make us healthier and better and more effective for ourselves and the people around us, like us learning how to develop excellent communication skills. So God bless you guys. I love you. Thank you so much. I appreciate y'all. Enjoy the rest of your Wednesday. Look out for more motivational videos. Lord willing, I will be right back here on Friday with just a few moments of just dropping some golden nuggets on you guys to kind of help you through your Friday. So that is this Friday, and hopefully every Friday at 9 a.m. you can expect me to just pop on really quickly for maybe about 15 minutes to a half an hour or so. In the meantime, you guys continue to stay blessed.